All right, that was the introduction to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles. Really beautiful and interesting introduction, usually played on a synthesizer, but recently I decided to try and figure it out on the guitar and found that most of the notes can be played using natural harmonics on the guitar. So I decided to whip together a little tutorial for you guys. Hopefully you find this interesting. So let's jump into it. The very first note starts on the 7th fret. I'm going to give you a bit of an idea of what to do if you've never played a harmonic before, or if you are a little uncertain of what's going on here. So you'll take your first finger and lightly touch the string directly over the 7th fret. And I'll give you a bit of another angle here to help out. So your first finger's right over the 7th fret, not in between the frets, like if you're just playing a regular note, but directly over the 7th fret. And another thing that's important is once you've played the note is to lift your finger up off of the fretboard, off of the strings, to let the note resonate. Like usually if you want the note to ring, you actually keep your first finger down, and when you lift it up, the sound goes away. But in this case, it's actually the opposite. If you leave your finger down, it actually dampens the string, and it doesn't allow the string to resonate in the same way. For example, it's not too bad, but if I do this, it can just ring on a lot longer, and that's what we want. Okay, so that's our first note, 7th fret on the 5th string. Then we're going to hop down one string. You'll notice that when I played, I kind of let most of these notes ring over each other. I think it works really nicely. So we have the 7th fret, then the 7th fret of the 4th string, then the 12th fret of the 1st string. Then we go back to the 12th fret of the 3rd string, and then to the 1st string again. So I use my first finger with my left hand on the notes on the 7th fret, and then my pinky finger on the notes on the 12th fret. And then back to the 7th fret of the 4th string. And then here is where things get a little interesting. We play the 4th fret, but keeping in mind, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, that our low E is actually tuned down to D, so this is drop D tuning. Make sure that this note is the same as this, or an octave lower than the 4th string. So usually it's E and E, and you just want to drop that down to open D. Yeah, so once we've got that down to drop D, then we're going to play the 4th fret. This is probably one of the toughest harmonics on the guitar, apart from the 3rd fret. And I find on my guitar that it's like slightly before the 4th fret. And it helps for me to play a little closer to the bridge with my right hand, just to get that note to ring. And then after that, you're going to go back to the 7th fret of the 4th string, then harmonic. And then this is where things get a little tricky. With the right hand, you want to play an artificial harmonic. This is the only exception that you have to play to get this F. So in order to get this note, you're going to take your left hand, put your second finger on the 8th fret, which is an F, and then with your right hand, you're going to take your index finger and put it on the, let's see, 12 plus 8 is the 20th fret, okay? Remember that if you're doing an artificial harmonic with your right hand, you have to be 12 frets above the note that you're fretting with your left hand. Okay, so if you're on the 8th fret, 8 plus 12, 12 is the octave. That means your right hand has to be hovering over the 20th fret over here. And you'll hear if it's not right, you won't get the note to sound. So you can kind of do a little bit of trial and error if you're not quite in the right place. Then harmonic on the 7th fret. What I did when I was playing before is I used my right hand to play it as an artificial harmonic like this. Even though it's a natural harmonic, I'm not actually doing anything with my left hand to get this note. That would be, let's see, 19th fret of the 3rd string with my right hand. And with these artificial harmonics, I should have explained this a bit earlier, is I'm just taking my index finger and doing the same thing that I was doing with my left hand when I was playing a harmonic there, is just resting my index finger over, in this case, the 20th fret. and then having my ring finger pluck the string directly behind it. Some people do this where they use their thumb. They use their index finger to touch the string and then their thumb to pluck the note. That also works, but I'm just used to doing it this way. And then over here, after that, we play the 9th fret on the 5th string, and then back to the 7th fret on the 4th string. And that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful. The last bit, I will admit, is super advanced. Getting used to doing this kind of quickly can be really challenging. So if you're an absolute beginner, what I do is encourage you just to practice the beginning as far as you can. Even if you just get that first part, and that's like an exercise for you, etc. That would be a really like awesome thing to practice. And then if you're a little bit more advanced, this tutorial is not really level specific, so I apologize for that. Then you can try and see how far you can get with it, depending on your skill. So I want to encourage you guys just to practice this. Make sure that you do all the good things, like and subscribe if this is helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.